Hey, what's up, guys? Another G.I.Combat issue here, like $1, right? This is 1981. So in the UK, it was 30. What is that? 30 pence. And this is, of course, these are all bigger comics, like longer ones, no ads. Oh, that's right. There's no ads in this. That's right. And of course, the mainstay of the G.I.Combat, the Haunted Tank. So this is the interesting one where. Um, William Tecumseh Sherman says, they started out the war in a Stuart M3, but now they're finding a tank named after me, a Sherman, so they're my responsibility. Listen, the American military never called these tanks Shermans. They called them M4s. The British, who this country supplied through Lend-Lease to fight the Germans, right? Not doing anything, helping an enemy against Germany. Totally not, taking a side or anything. The British called it that, right? Why they did that, I don't know. So, but the idea of Sherman coming in, right? Because I like this. I've seen them facing the flame of battle without flinching. True soldiers performing the finest military tradition. Right? War is hell, General, not nightly combat. That's why I marched through Georgia and Carolina, setting everything ablaze to end the war. Yeah, you did. My only tradition is winning. You forgot that. I didn't. I won. You lost. Right? Yeah, man, they burned. Yeah. The U.S., the Federals, their total war idea. Right? But look at this. Oh, they're taking away. Oh, right. All right. They're taking away the battle flag and putting on the this is my Union stand. And so I thought this was cool. Just the idea of the general recalls the unique HQ in the sky under the command of Alexander the Great, conqueror of the known world. Right, staffed by the most famous and infamous military figures from ancient times to the present, from legend and reality. I thought this is so surreal, right? And obviously, look, that's enemy ace. So enemy ace obviously didn't survive the first war, right? Unless you read Garth Ennis's Enemy Ace, where he did, which actually is probably the best comic Ennis ever did. Tankies and some of the war stories, but here he's gone. He's obviously he had died, right? My compliments on upholding a military man's code of honor to the last in your aerial combats, Baron von Hammer. I'm gonna be voice acting. You and your Confederate officers behave similarly, General Stuart. And losers, both of you. That's why you lost your wars. The Germans and the Confederates lost their wars because had you made war sheer hell for your adversaries as I did, whoa, Robert Kanighers, what are you saying? You might have won. I prefer losing to ruthlessly setting even my foes' land to the torch, General Sherman. Right? There is no victory in terrorizing innocent civilians, Herr General. It's like, whoa, wait. Right. And so, obviously, Alexander the Great, right? I'm assigning you to the fortunes of this great tank. This is like crazy. But I'm a Southerner. That's a Yankee tank and crew. Actually, I remember stories where Jeb was the Yankee and the other guys were all Southerners. Arch, Slim, and Rick were Southerners. But hey, man, Cannon is sentimental nonsense. We are alike. We are militarists. So, and you have the history of the Hornet tank, the Stuart light tank, Arch, the loader died, right? And then eventually they get the shit. They don't mention the Patriot tank, which I still think they should have stuck with. Right. So, and this story is basically General Sherman wants them to be more ruthless, but look at this. He doesn't want to kill innocent German civilians. Whoa. Hey. I said Robert Kanighers was great, dude. So eventually they do something where they take a risk to not kill the German civilians, and Sherman realizes that tank's named after me, but the crew's still fighting your way. He's like, we're all Americans, Sherman, in this war together. To be sure, Stuart, but this isn't my way to fight a war. Well, I'll tell you, this ain't your way, but this is the way of the Allied command, man. So, even the Soviets, listen, I can understand the Soviets going all out and showing no mercy, but you guys, and look at just, I'm not even gonna say nothing. Look how surreal this is. So, so anyway, OSS, right? The CIA antecedent. ER Cruz and Murray Boltinoff again. Murray Boltinoff. The guy made the Doom Patrol. He made, I think, the Legion of Superheroes. Anyway, and the art, like I keep saying, this art is a kind of an amalgamation of the Spanish Euro style and Japanese manga. Okay, you might disagree, but I see that guy's art like this. I have to look into this man's art, ER Cruz, more because this is some great stuff. I know they did a lot of stuff for House of Mystery. You know? See how beautiful the women are. And of course, you got the Germans. Right? And this is another one, Vicatan. Right? This is another unsung Filipino artist. And this story, I remember this one. The German tanks don't look like German tanks, but the story was great. You get this guy, these artillery guys keep. This one guy keeps messing up, and this guy his sergeant keeps riding him. But his mistake in the end actually saves their asses. Right. So, but yeah, you can see like the interesting. You can see that style they have. Right. It's this style would look as good in black and white if there's no color than it would if it was, if it was in color. I mean that shows you to me. Right. So now another Filipino artist, of course, Angel Trinidad. But this is written by Jan Lauria. I'm assuming this is a woman, right? Women at War. It could be a pseudonym. I don't know. This story, this is like one of the top 5 or top 10 war stories I remember as a kid. That really struck me. This is about, right, Korea. You have this woman. She's a fraternal twins or identical twins to a male sibling. And for some reason, I don't know why, but they have her like dressed as a man, so she puts her hair up in the helmet. Of course, this is when the Chinese are coming down through the Yellow River after being antagonized by MacArthur, and she finds her twin brother, right, who's already dead. Right? So, for some reason, like he's like, all right, the Chinese are coming. We need to get. It's like, this is a woman, right? This is almost reminiscent of in the Civil War. You had females, the Union and the Confederate Army going there to fight, but usually to try to find their brothers or their husbands. I know, amazing. Can you imagine? Right? So it starts off on a sad thing, but then you get the battle with the buglers. And this one I remember a lot. Chinese came down in waves, right? Fell in waves. But they're coming. Drive them back. Want to get that lousy bugler if it's the last thing I do. Boom, what it is. Where they just... Americans and Chinese closed in a deadly embrace, firing and slashing at each other. Blood of the white and yellow men mingling. Right. And you have here where for some reason, she's fighting. And then, this Chinese soldier realizes, my Buddha, you're a golden-haired female. Right? I cannot kill a woman, even if you are the enemy. Right? Now, of course, today this would be considered offensive in the opposite way. But my sentimental, non-racist ass actually thinks this is very touching. Right? She has a chance to shoot him in the back, but she can't do it. Oh, she's a woman. We stopped them, but it cost a hell of a price. I'm not gonna let that. Oh, meanwhile, they're not. I don't. They're not call. They didn't call the Chinese this in the Korean War. Or the Koreans. This was from Nam. But anyway, and then she sees, right. So she tries to save him, right, and this guy's like, in the eyes of the Buddha, we are all the same, right? Your act of mercy has made us brother and sister. And you have the star, right? Oh. It's like, I know you're like, oh, this is sentimental, You cook nonsense. To me, I don't care. No, it's not. It's not. You know, if anything, the future shows that those of us left who have any sense of being descended from Europa, yeah, you're gonna have to play ball with the adults in the global room now. Okay, yeah, call me a shill. I don't give a damn. So, oh, we're getting all serious. All right, well, we got this story here. Right. Oh, the Yiddish into German. Oh, the rabbi. Oh, there's a subversive. Look at these Nazi scumbags. Right. Oh, how dare you! They come here, right? You will die at the pulpit where you delivered your blasphemy. You will die as you must all enemies of the Reich, right? That's right. Yeah, Nazi. That's what you think. Right. So luckily this story has a happy ending, and you see, right, that you don't know, right, right. We are strike back against the bestial enemy. That's right. So very happy ending. I'm very happy that turned out that way. So, and now the final story here. Now, this is what I'm talking about. The whole idea of like, it reminds me of like a lot of the Japanese cartoon shows that were more like real war stories, like Mospita or Dogrum, right? I mentioned Dogrum. So, and they have a thing where they're coming in, right? What's going on, right? And then you have one guy who's a survivor of an attack that wiped out all his friends. And this guy's just like, oh, he's like, did Stein make it? And he's like, your buddy isn't here, soldier. They're looking to the everyone's dead, right? Dog tags. There's no Stein, right? There's Stein. We'll get you back. He's like, you earned your right. He's like, right, I'm not going anywhere until I find my buddy Stein. Right? And they're like, and there we go. We got two loonies now. A tank jockey who speaks to a ghost general and that footslogger, right? He's only worried about his buddy, right? Gus is trying to be understanding. And Slim is like, I'm worried about getting back alive, right? So now the usual thing is like, where did Stein make it? Where's Stein? That's like, oh. So now you get an attack, right? The Panther, right? The armored car with the turret variant. Well, actually a cool tank. Ambushed them, right? So now it's kind of like we're like helpless, and this guy is just like, he sacrifices himself and takes it out. So this time make it. He's dying. He's like, we've been asking him for Stein ever since I picked him up. Have you seen him? He's like, the medic's like, I don't understand. That's him. Right. So you get the twist ending, right? The sad ending, the tragic ending with this man, right? Concussion he sustained from blowing up the bunker. They split his mind in two. He was looking for himself. This feverish search only ended with his death. So this is almost like an EC kind of story, but it's not. It's just a fucking horrible war story, Like I said, Kanighers. It was starting to get darker in the 80s. These weren't adventure stories anymore. These are stories about trauma. These are stories about, the time in history, the 20th century, the cutting of the throat, right? Always the war. But regardless, these, the fact that I can still look at these and still get some value out of them is very interesting. Very interesting. The talent you had, even from people that you wouldn't think would have it. The old American, regardless of how things have turned out. It's always a matter of degree. What do I mean by that? Well, I think you can figure it out. All right.